Christmas Eve, 1944. Deep in the snowy Ardennes forest, the Battle of the Bulge rages. Inside a small hunting cabin, a German woman named Elisabeth Vincken and her 12-year-old son, Fritz, are trying to escape the war. Her husband is away fighting, and her older son has already been killed on the Eastern Front. All she wants is one quiet night, a flicker of peace in a world of violence. The distant rumble of artillery is a constant, grim reminder that they are not safe. As she prepares a meager meal, a sudden, loud knock shatters the silence. When Elisabeth opens the door, her heart freezes. 3 American soldiers stand there, one of them badly wounded, his legs soaked in blood. They are lost, exhausted, and desperate. With rifles raised, they push their way inside. These are the enemy. The men her country is at war with. But as she looks at the young soldier groaning in pain, her maternal instinct overrides her fear. She lays down a rule, her voice trembling but firm. If they want to stay, their weapons must be left outside. The Americans are suspicious, this could easily be a trap. But with their friend bleeding out, they have no other choice. They unload their rifles and stack them in the snow by the door. Inside, Elisabeth cleans the wound and offers them hot soup. Fritz, who knows a little English, acts as a translator. Slowly, the tension begins to melt. The enemy soldiers start to look less like monsters and more like what they are, scared, tired young men, a long way from home. But the night isn't over. A little while later, another knock. This time, it's 3 German soldiers. A lieutenant, a sergeant, and a private who looks barely older than Fritz. They step inside, stamping the snow from their boots, their eyes immediately locking onto the Americans. The air in the tiny cabin becomes thick with hostility. Hands instinctively move towards coats, minds racing to the weapons left just outside. The Germans are ready to arrest, or even kill, the Americans on the spot. But Elisabeth steps between them. She looks at the soldiers, both German and American, and says this is her home for the night, and she will not have it turned into a battlefield. Then, she makes an incredible demand. Tonight is Christmas Eve, she declares. There will be no guns in my house. Leave your weapons outside with the others, or leave my cabin. Both sides protest. They tell her she's risking her life, that helping the enemy is treason. But Elisabeth stands her ground, a lone civilian armed only with courage, refusing to let the war cross her threshold. One by one, grudgingly, the German soldiers also agree. They walk outside and place their rifles next to the American ones. And so, in a small cabin in the middle of the deadliest war in history, 7 soldiers from 2 opposing armies, a brave woman, and her son, stand unarmed under one roof. What began as a tense standoff slowly transforms into a fragile Christmas truce. They push 2 small tables together to make one long one. They share what little food they have, American rations, German bread, and the small goose Elisabeth had been saving, now stretched to feed everyone. Someone finds a small fir tree, and they light candles, casting a warm glow on the faces of men who, just hours before, would have been trying to kill each other. Soon, a quiet miracle unfolds. Voices that were shouting in anger now join together to sing Christmas carols. Still Nacht and Silent Night, the same song, in 2 different languages, echoing through the cabin. For a few precious hours, the uniforms seem to fade away. They aren't soldiers anymore, they are just men. They talk about their homes, their families, and the war that they all secretly despise. The officers, German Lieutenant Klosterman and American Sergeant Blank, debate the politics and ideologies that have pitted them against each other. They don't agree, but they understand one another's exhaustion and fear. Everyone looks with concern at Heinrich, the 15-year-old German private. They all silently acknowledge that a boy his age has almost no chance of surviving if he stays at the front. But the peace is nearly shattered. One of the Americans, Private Rassi, proudly shows off a German Iron Cross he took as a trophy from a fallen soldier. When Lieutenant Klosterman sees it, he explodes with rage. His own brother was killed in battle, and his medal was ripped from his body in the same way. The argument escalates, and for a terrifying moment, it seems violence will erupt. The wounded American even reappears with a hidden pistol to defend his friends. But somehow, they pull back from the brink. The Christmas spirit, fragile as it is, survives the test. That night, they sleep not as enemies, and not yet as friends, but as something in between. The next morning, Christmas Day, their truce faces its ultimate challenge. An American military policeman appears at the door. To the Americans, it feels like a rescue. He's here to take them back to their own lines. He starts asking questions, checking papers, his presence instantly reintroducing the cold reality of war into their small haven. And then comes the twist. The American MP isn't American at all. He is Captain Dietrich, a German officer in disguise, sent to infiltrate enemy lines. The friendly rescuer is suddenly a deadly threat. Dietrich orders the German soldiers to rearm. He declares the Americans are to be executed as spies, and Elisabeth as a traitor for helping them. He raises his pistol, ready to enforce the brutal law of war, not the spirit of Christmas. Elisabeth pleads with him, reminding him of the peace they all shared, the humanity they found in each other just hours before. But Dietrich is unmoved. He threatens to kill them all if anyone resists. Just as it seems the truce is about to end in a bloodbath, the most unexpected thing happens. The German soldiers themselves refuse to obey. Sergeant Muller and the others turn on their own officer. They knock Captain Dietrich to the ground, stopping the execution. In that single, breathtaking moment, they choose their conscience over their orders. They choose Christmas over cruelty. There's no going back. The war outside is waiting, and this small pocket of peace can't last. The soldiers prepare to leave. An agreement is made. The Americans will take Captain Dietrich as their prisoner. And, at Lieutenant Klostermann's request, they will also take the young German private, Heinrich, with them. As a prisoner of war, Heinrich will likely survive. If he stays with the German army, his fate is almost certainly sealed. On Christmas Day, a group of enemies conspires to save a young boy's life. The soldiers, German and American, shake hands. They wish each other good luck, knowing that when they next meet, it will likely be across a battlefield. Elisabeth and Fritz watch them disappear into the trees, two groups going their separate ways, their lives forever changed by the night their tiny cabin became neutral ground in the middle of hell. Decades later, an elderly Fritz Vincken, now living in America, receives a visitor. A young man has come looking for him, searching for a story his grandfather used to tell. A story about a miraculous Christmas Eve in a German cabin, shared with a brave woman, her son, and soldiers from both sides of the war. Fritz realizes this young man's grandfather was one of the American soldiers who found shelter in his mother's cabin all those years ago. He goes to a drawer and pulls out a small metal object he has kept his entire life, a set of dog tags belonging to one of the American soldiers. He hands them to the young man, a tangible piece of his grandfather's past, returned after a lifetime. The Christmas truce in the Ardennes was over in a day. But its memory, the story of a night when a small group of strangers chose humanity over hate, lives on forever. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, please consider liking and subscribing for more incredible stories from history.